understand that yoga is really not about physical exercises, that is the lifestyle, and that is about that balancing.
Namaste, dear yogis. So this is Raj, and today we have a very special guest with us, Tanja, who is an experienced astrologist, and also she has experienced yoga for the last 1 month in very deep details, which we'll hear about more. So maybe Tanja, you can say a few words about yourself.
Yes, thank you very much, Raj, that you invited me here. Thank you, dear yogis, that you're listening. I'm very glad that I'm here, that I'm Raj's this guest, and that I will maybe say something about my experience. Thank you.
Perfect. And this is also my first interview as well, so I'm very happy that she decided to have some time for this. Und und herzlich willkommen zu alle meine Deutsch Zuschauern, und ich mache alle Untertitel nach Ende dieses Interview. Also, Dankeschön. So first of all, I would like to ask you, how has your experience been in Kerala so far with this yoga? Do you feel relaxed, or what's your feeling now in general?
Yes, thank you, Raj, for the question. Before I start, I want to wish you to be successful in the future interviews. This one will be fine. In the future, to have many interviews. And to be like, how to say, to propagate yoga in the West, in Germany, or wherever you are. And my experience so far was very nice here. I'm very, very glad that we came to Kerala, because I chose Kerala, not other places, because I wanted to be near the ocean.
Perfect.
As well as my family. I brought here some members of my family, as you know.
Yeah.
And Kerala was a good choice, definitely. And when we talk about yoga, I don't have much experiences actually with yoga schools. So I can't really compare. But I think that we had very nice teachers here.
Definitely, I totally agree.
And I was very happy that they taught us in a way how they did it. So if you ask me if I would recommend to people who are like of my profile, if they should come here, yes, definitely. But I'm saying I'm not any yoga expert. I just exercise all my life. So I don't know if people want to go deeper into yoga. Maybe they would go to personal teachers or something like this. Maybe they would not even go to the school. Maybe they would find their guru, as is popular to do. But I would recommend Kerala indeed. Yes, it was very nice.
Yeah, it's the same as yours. It has also been my experience as well. It's amazing here for the last 1 month. And also, like, you are with your family, with Nicola, Katya, and Alex. So how do you feel that you're surrounded by your loved ones here? How is it?
It was very nice. Actually, people will maybe laugh. I'm 60 this year.
Congratulations.
And I wanted thank you. And I wanted to make a present for my close members of my family, my children and my daughter-in-law. And I was thinking what to do, and I wanted to take them to travel somewhere or something. But actually, my dream was to come to India.
Wow.
I wasn't in India before, even if I traveled quite a lot in my life. I don't know how that happened, that I did not have opportunity before. And then I decided to offer to them to come here, to be together 1 month, to exercise and to enjoy in India together. And then they accepted it.
That's perfect. I mean, it has worked out really amazing so far. And
Yeah.
I'm very happy that we all could, I can also feel like a part of this family as well.
Yes,
It's
I'm
amazing.
glad.
Thank you.
I'm glad very much.
So the next question would be like, since you have been here for 1 month, other than asanas, what does yoga mean to you? Because of course you are you know the physical part of it. Asanas we do every day, and also regarding the other parts, especially I feel that philosophy is very interesting to you, because you are talking about the word roots, like etymology of everything, and also it's kind of related to astrology, which is your main work as well. So how do you frame it?
Actually, now I understood while being here that what I practice all my life is also sort of yoga. I didn't go before to some yoga lessons, maybe from the time to time, rarely. Really, I usually exercise, nowadays we exercise online, so I'm doing that. Usually I find some yoga channels, mainly by Indian teachers, and I practice a little bit with them. But actually all my life I exercise a lot. because I'm from the family where people do different sports. We always did different sports.
Amazing.
And I must say that I thought that yoga, even if I'm very much into philosophy and spiritual sciences, I have quite a lot, I would say, knowledge about theology also. I studied different theologies. I also understood yoga quite much in a physical way until I was here. I must say that.
So you are familiar now with the other aspects of
yes,
yoga.
And they were repeating so much that yoga is not about these physical exercises.
Yeah, exactly.
Then I finally, first of all, I understood that my exercises that I was doing in my life, that they're sort of yoga, because I always pick up from different teachers, you know, I had different experiences with gymnastic and these kind of things. So I always did something which was similar to this what we did now here.
Yeah.
This is one thing that I realized, that everything is yoga. Basically, everything is, all exercises are yoga.
It's very broad. So as far as, if I can say, it's like the purpose of yoga is to get rid of all the mental, you know, to omit all the mental feelings that you have, you know, so that you can achieve a meditative state.
Yes, but now first I'm saying about this exercising by itself, you know, because many positions I did and I wasn't doing yoga actually. This is one thing. And another thing is that really now I understand, because I personally wanted to go deeper into yoga and yoga philosophy, yoga practice. That's why I came here. Now I understand that yoga is really not about physical exercises. That is the lifestyle, and that is about that balancing.
Yeah, exactly.
This inner part of our personality. As teachers say here, you're actually balancing your spiritual sides, this divine part of yourself with your mind. You're balancing those two by doing asanas. So asanas are actually, or this physical part is maybe on the third place, or I don't know where, but it's not the most important.
Yeah, exactly. If you look into Ashtanga, there are like 8 limbs of Ashtanga. So yama, niyama, then comes asana, pranayama, then pratyahara or sense withdrawal, then dharana, dhyana, and final goal is samadhi. So asanas and pranayama are a part of it, and everything together is what we want to achieve.
Yes, and actually teachers here know, and those who practice here, they know that the highest point of practicing yoga is to reach samadhi, or the state of mindfulness, or we can even say moksha, the liberation from the reincarnation, as they would understood in the terms of Hinduistic religion. But in the West, you know, that's like a very a foreign concept, because people don't have this theological experience of Hinduism. That's why they don't know,
and it's more like asana oriented,
more physical thing.
Definitely. So would you say, so you have been to all the classes, most of them, so would you say you've developed like a favoritism for any kind of pranayama or asanas? Would you like to mention like one pranayama that you really can visualize yourself doing it every single day when you are back in Prague?
Well, actually, you know, I did pranayamas from the time to time in my life when I needed them, but not regularly. And this year, as I'm 60, I guess I had crisis. This is what we call in astrology crisis, and in psychology also, crisis of the 60s. So I thought that something is wrong with my heart. Actually, I had some symptoms.
Okay.
And then because of that, I went to see different types of doctors, and finally everything was okay. But I wanted to do something for myself, and I did. I used different techniques to help myself when I needed. And I also started practicing pranayamas. So I was doing pranayamas regularly, every day in the morning, in the last 2 months and a half. And I think that helped me really a lot. Because when I started doing pranayamas regularly in the morning, then many times during the daytime, I remember that I'm breathing. And I was so excited. You know, I'm breathing, and my nose is clean, because I always, before pranayamas, I clean my nose with the salt water.
That's nice. That's one of the Jalniti practices.
Yes, what they are teaching us here also to do. So then I did not leave my nose to be stuck with the dust of the city, you know, and that helped. And all the feeling, you know, that something is happening with the lungs and the belly, it was fantastic. So these pranayamas that I did before, I think I would continue to do. And I did Pastrika pranayam, then I did Kabalpati pranayam, then I did this Narishutra pranayam, or also known as Anilong Bilong. And of course, I pay attention to my breathing by itself. This is what I will do regularly further also, I guess. And also, I did gladly before, and now I will do this. What was the
Brahmari.
Brahmari.
Yeah.
Brahmari. When you close, Brahmari. But I wasn't closing all of the holes we have. I was closing just my ears, and Brahmari was also very pleasant.
So I guess now you understand the technique of how to do it in the. So you are doing 90% it the right way, but now with the experience here, you would say
yes, I guess they help me
some
also.
more mudras or so how to do the same pose
yes. Now it's a different
more
thing.
intense way.
Yes. But I think this before, when I was doing it with yoga teacher online, it was also okay.
Okay, then yeah. So it's like but as always, when you have live experience, you are like,
of
it's
course.
much more. You know the environment, everything. It's
generally
like,
for everything, this was amazing experience for me. Actually, I can tell you, Raj, this is for me my beginning of like understanding yoga in a more systematic way.
Yeah. Okay.
This is just the beginning. Even if I practice, for example, Surya Namaskar or Surya Namashkar, I practice all my life. I practice maybe 40 years.
Wow.
Children said that today, or maybe a few days ago. They said, "Oh, but she's practicing all her life."
But it's a hatha way, I believe.
It's hatha. Yes, hatha is my style. I practice all my life, but I never understood like systematically what is yoga and how to do yoga in a proper way.
Okay,
So my journey with real yoga begins here now.
Yeah, and as you said, you're going to integrate all this, most of the parts of yoga in your busy life. Whenever
Yes. My life is not that busy.
Okay.
I always have time for myself.
Yeah, it's like with yoga, it's like you have to find time sometimes as people. So even I find it difficult as well, but it's always like that.
I can say to you and to your listeners, if you want to be alone with yourself, you will always find time. I practice every morning in my life.
That's amazing. I wish to be more like you.
No problem.
Great. So yeah, now maybe we move on to the topics that are like much more familiar and of interest to you. I mean, yoga is of course your main interest, but I mean it's like regarding your work, let's say. So you are very well known for astrology, and also a lot of like people who like you do a lot of self-help videos, I believe. So people can get a lot of idea how to improve their lives. They can strengthen themselves from you. So when did you decide, or how did you decide that you're going to focus on this career? And
Yes.
When did you start?
Astrology was something very special when I discovered it for me, and that was I finished my studies. I lived in Yugoslavia at that time. It was Yugoslavia, and I discovered it, and I was completely fascinated. And when I understood that something like astrology exists, I always ask myself, why nobody teaches us this if this exists in the world? Why we are not taught of this art or science, however people understand it. And I started studying it for myself, reading books, but I guess I would never use it professionally if some things did not change in my life radically, because I was a philologist before. But then there was one point in my life when I could actually not make a living by teaching at the university as a philologist, as a professor of literature and other things. And then it happened actually that astrology chose me, not that I choose astrology for my profession, but it
destiny.
was the moment when I thought, well, how I will make my living, because in the academic field it was impossible. And then actually, I know how to do astrology. And then it was boom, of astrology in my life, because that was my path. It was my path maybe even 15 years before I started using it professionally.
Okay.
But I was stuck in the academic field because I studied that. It was my parents expected from me to do that, some things like that.
I can totally understand.
And in people in Europe, actually, they don't respect astrology and astrologers. They think it's nonsense, which is, of course, not the case in India.
Yeah, in India, I mean, you are, of course, she's very highly qualified, in case you're listeners. So, you have a PhD in
in philology. Yes.
So, and after that, you decided to do astrology, which means you are, of course, you have the scientific mind as well. So, you question everything and then you find the answer through astrology. So, it's amazing. And
yes, I don't understand astrology like I'm not using it for predictions. That's what people do. They like astrology is like very much to predict, but astrology is much more than prediction. The trouble with prediction is that you can never predict 100%. That's what I want to say to your listeners. And if I cannot predict anything 100%, which is impossible in any field, then I'm not predicting. So what do? I describe the patterns that are seen in the natal chart. Or now, if your listeners will be interested to see my channel, they will see that on my YouTube channel, actually, in the last 5 years, which are crazy years since the 2020, I talk a lot on my channel about mundane astrology. And mundane astrology is about world events, what is happening.
Events, yeah.
Because many things are happening, you know. This is the moment when one civilizational model will be changed for another one. This is something so huge that we are experiencing now that happens once in 2,000 years.
Wow.
This is what we are going through now. And because of that, I start speaking a lot about mundane astrology. It's like happening in the world. But I don't know what will happen. I can just say which are the patterns. And then depend on us, people who live in this world, how we will integrate certain patterns. And it's how the natal chart works. Natal chart, like a horoscope of a person. We see the patterns there. And then it's up to that person how he will or she will use these patterns. And that there is a free will. The proof for that are twins. Because twins are born by the same parents, same hospital, same place, same time, few minutes difference. And you always in their lives, you follow the patterns. But they don't have the same lives.
Of course, that's always the case.
So that's how we interpret modern astrology, basically.
It's amazing. And also, there is a lot of connection between yoga. In India, astrology is called Jyotish.
Yes.
But it's more about sun and the moon and some predictions as well. And what do you think is the connection between intuition that you heard of in our philosophy classes? Intuition about something that's going to happen. And like, how do you connect it to astrology? Is it very familiar concept with you as well, the science of intuition that we talked in yoga, or what's your opinion on it?
Yeah, Jyotish, I like that name, Indian name, which means the science of light, which is very nice. But actually, Indian astrology does not discuss only the sun and the moon and Rahu and Ketu, means usual lunar nodes. It does not discuss only that. It actually discusses the planets, but Indian astrology, or as they people call it Vedic, which is not true, the name is Jyotish. It does not speak about Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. These are trans-Saturnian planets. It does not take in consideration that, but other planets, yes. And sun and moon also. So when we talk about intuition, I can say that I'm not that much using intuition when I work, because I train myself to analyze. I always analyze predispositions, or we said inner patterns or things like that. So my approach is very much rational, actually. But the way how I synthesize the synthesis of everything that I analyze is, for me, sometimes as a miracle. Because sometimes I myself, I'm surprised how things I've actually, how I connected it. I often say, how could I connect this way? I made it so simple, I often surprise myself.
I think it's years of experience.
I think it's not just the experience. I think when astrology chooses me, because it is always like that, that's what you do must choose you. I think there was something in me. I said, now Indians would maybe say from previous lives,
well.
which I can easily find in my natal chart.
Okay, yeah.
It's not just the experience, it's just like a gift, because it's like that, you can teach people sometimes to play guitar or something else, but they will not be that good because it's not really their field. Maybe they will be good in something else.
Yeah.
And with this astrology somehow works with me.
Yeah.
So to make the conclusion about intuition, it is not the main thing in that what I do, but it's like inner voice. I cannot even call it intuition, and I'm not looking for it.
Okay, it just comes.
It is manifesting through me more.
Okay, that's very interesting. And let's say I had this question as well. So if someone has any kind of planetary influence on themselves, so if you know, how can doing yoga help them, or doing astrology, if they get to consult a specialist, how can that actually help them? Maybe you can say 2-3 lines about it?
I cannot say to people, you have these patterns, and for you is good this type of yoga or this type of exercise. It's not really, because I'm not good in yoga in that much. But by looking at the natal chart, we can see how this person needs to contemplate on themselves. And actually, I'm not doing only yoga. I also have a technique that I'm using, and the name of this technique is the change of code, the change of perception. If your listeners are interested, they can find it on my web pages. There is something smaller about that there. And actually, by doing this technique with them, we go deeper even than it's astrology. And then by doing this, sometimes actually we do astrology, then we do change of code. And then I go with this person quite deep into themselves. And according to my experience with them, I can recommend to them which part of personality they need to integrate, that they need to work on. And then it's up to them if they will choose yoga, meditations, or these kind of things. I'm not really recommending this because I'm not that good in yoga, meditations, mantras, and these kind of things.
Not yet, but yeah.
Maybe I will be, yes. But Indian astrologers would do it.
Yeah.
They would say mantras, they would say remedies and these kind of things. But Western astrology does not have these remedies like that, That's why I have this technique, the change of code, the change of perception. And when we discover certain patterns through astrology, then we often work on that through the changing of the code.
Okay, perfect. So if any of the viewers have any kind of questions about this, they can of course look into the website, and she'll be very happy. Yes. I mean, you can look into the technique that you mentioned.
Yes. In that English version. My web pages have 3 languages, English, Czech, and Serbian. But I have to say, I have very few materials in English. I work more in Czech and Serbian, but few things you will find in English also.
Of course. I mean, and anyways, translation is always possible. So
yes.
They can always do it. Today is much, nowadays much easier. So talking about your online availability. So when did you decide that you want to transfer this knowledge to everyone in the world, let's say, through online means?
Astrology,
so when did it? Yeah. So when did you start doing it?
Well, professionally, I started starting to be a professional astrologist like 15 years ago, 16, 17, maybe, I'm not really sure. And I have YouTube channel maybe more than 10 years or something like that. So that was just the point. I had something in that time when I started that, I had something that we also call crisis. In the West, everything is crisis. So I had some sort of crisis of the 40s. Crisis of the 40s are actually when we are 42, not 40, just for your listeners to know. And in that time, I actually changed my life completely. And then I started to teach other people. And it was not also, as I said at the beginning, it was not that I wanted, because before I thought I will do astrology and study this subject, like not just astrology, actually, I'm involved in astrological psychology mainly, and spiritual astrology, so I don't do classical astrology. So I thought I will always study some philosophy or theological things on this kind of things. And when I decided to do that for others and to do it professionally was because my life situation put me in that position, as I said, If it wasn't happening that with me, which I believe it's God will, now I know it actually, but if that didn't happen, I would stay in the academic field, I guess.
Okay. So, I mean, it
was not my choice.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, yoga person would say maybe it was God's plan all the way.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, it's a part of the whole big
story. My journey,
so,
yes.
Yeah. So, maybe now we talk about, we come back to your being in India. So, what has this experience until now, has it given you some important lessons for you that you can take back to Prague? Other than, of course, asana and pranayama and everything, do you have some life lessons maybe that you have learned now that you deal with a completely different culture here, as you see? So is there something that you can take back to Prague from this experience?
Yes, really, I take a lot from here. First, I was waiting like all my life to come to India, so finally I'm here. So I've been here 1 month, and I will have maybe year to think of that what happened with me here. But Indian culture is in a way very close to me. Not just because I learn a lot of things from Indian astrologers, which I'm putting in Western astrology. For many years I'm doing that already. Not just that, but some period of my life I studied Vedas and I read Vedic texts even now, even if it's very hard for us to read because I don't know Sanskrit. But I studied also Sanskrit a little bit and many of those things, more from the philosophical point of view. So actually, I know that we are all from the same root, you know. Maybe not really south of India, but north of India. This is basically the same as the Indo-European. This is what we call Indo-European culture. So we all know that Vedas are brought to the north of India by people who were living in the north of this globe, and they migrated south, which was quite a long time ago, maybe 10, 12,000 years before Jesus, as we say. And they brought the knowledge of Vedas to the north. I mean, it's written in Vedas. It's not something special. These were just Aryans. But it's very interesting that this culture was lost in many like nations or countries to say. Even in Persian culture, it is a little suppressed. In many European cultures, it's a little suppressed. But Indians kept for us this knowledge, which is the base also of our culture. You know, so as a Serb, I'm Serbian by origin, and I have a house in a village of Serbia. I know that I follow this, I read about this. There are many habits that in that village people have, which are written in Manu's law.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah.
So these common roots actually is something that I'm looking for, and I'm finding it. And this is very exciting about Indian culture, that is not really far.
Yeah.
Because Serbs have a lot of this, you know. In Serbian culture, for 20 centuries already, we have two religions. One is old religion, they call old religion. It's very much connected with Vedas. And one is Christianity.
Okay.
You know, and many people don't know that this exists actually. So it's not that foreign. And now south of India is something different completely because they had different culture from this Vedic, and they had these old temples, which are like impressive, like pyramids almost. But unfortunately, we did not see them. We did not have time to travel because we are here for the yoga course. So that part I did not get as much as I wanted. I did not see these south temples, which belong to completely different tradition.
Yeah.
And I would like to come once again, and maybe even more time, I don't know, to see this. But that is very big inspiration for me, this South Indian culture with all temples and all tradition. And I think they actually have the knowledge of astrology.
Definitely.
I think it's this southern
also north
culture.
as well, but
north, maybe in a different way.
Yeah.
You know, because in this Brahmanic culture, it was even suppressed sometimes in some periods of time. But I think that southern India has a lot to offer in this field.
Also, regarding that, so north of India had a lot of influence because there was a lot of invaders from Persia, the Mughal emperor, for example. So north of India is more, south of India remained like untouched by them, kind of. So it's more Indian vibe.
Yes,
so
yes.
I kind of agree with you on that.
Yes,
so yeah, of course, this is a very short trip for you. It was like 1 month, so that's not enough to
do everything. Impossible.
And you are doing yoga as well in that short time.
Yes.
So yeah, of course, but obviously next time when you visit India, it will be amazing. Maybe so on short, last couple of questions. So if someone is feeling lost right now, or like not feeling so confident, what would you advise to them? What kind of things they can do, or is there something that you can?
You know, I have consultations with people who are always in trouble. You know, usually if people feel good, they usually do not contact astrologer or somebody who will do this technique change of code. So I would talk with them. I would analyze their natal chart. I would use this technique with them. They would work on that.
Okay.
There is no general advice.
Yes.
You know, if any, then it is like work with yourself. Try to understand yourself.
So if people want to connect you, of course, they can do it through your webpage.
Yes, symbolic thinking.
Symbolic thinking. And also, if you have Instagram or LinkedIn, something like that? Or?
Yeah, I have Instagram, which I'm not using really.
Okay.
LinkedIn, yes, and I'm putting posts there.
Okay.
Facebook also, I have and I use. But I think mainly people find me on YouTube channel.
Perfect.
Yeah. They either write my name, Tatjana Micić, or they write symbolic thinking and it will appear.
Perfect. And of course, I will put her channel link and website and everything in the link description, so you can look at it or click at it below. If you have any kind of ideas, or if you have any kind of problems that she can possibly solve for you, it will be great. So
just I have to say, I'm not solving other people's problems.
Okay.
They have to solve themselves. But I can help people
guide
to
them,
go, guide them and to help to go into themselves and to understand better what is that they need to integrate. Mainly we need to integrate something that we are refusing to do.
Okay, perfect. So then I guess we talked about a lot of things that are, of course, of interest to a lot of people. And I hope they can find what they want through this interview, and it can help them to get better in their lives. So with this note, thank you so much.
Thank you, Raj. Thank you very much. Thank you that you invited me. I'm so glad that we talked. I wish you to be happy, to be successful, and to bring yoga to the West.
Definitely.
To be great teacher as you are already.
And I feel that over the past 1 month, especially you and with your family, we have connected very well, and I'm grateful for that as well.
Yes, me too. And come to Prague to visit us. Come to Serbia. Anywhere where we are, you will be very welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you also, Raj.